Today I have with me a very unusual expert. He's unusual because he has created an unusual award with his own money out of his own interest. Amazing. So let's listen to him. By the way, I'm glad to be back with all of you, but it's more important that we listen to him. He is P.N. Jairam. Over to you, Jairam. Let's listen to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Subodh. You make me crack up when you give that introduction about what I'm doing. But let me say in a nutshell what this is. Uh, well, I've instituted what is called as a Promising Chef Award. And we'll go over, and this has been over 2 decades now. It's 23 years and running. It's created some very good folks who are chefs, and the whole focus is Indian cuisine. We need what I have been considered and I've been promoting. If we need good ambassadors for Indian cuisine, and that is the whole aim of this, trying to do this. So with that in mind, I've set it up in my alma mater in Institute of Hotel Management, Pusa, New Delhi. That's what's going on. So in the next few, what we'll do is to give you a genesis of why it happened, what caused it to start, and where in the last 23 years, the recipients, what they're doing, where are they spread, and then the selection process. How do we select the, proverbial needle in the haystack? And then we'll also I'll muse something about in the future. What is there for this in the future? Does it make sense or not? So those are my topics for us to kind of allow me to share as I go along this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Good. So how did I get interested? That's, I think, the first thing is what caused me to do this. So as I mentioned, I'm from Institute of Hotel Management, Pusa, New Delhi. And after having done that, I got into the Taj Group of hotels. I was with Taj Group for over 12 years. And I was not a chef, so I was outside. I was more on the service side of this, on food and beverage services. And I managed many restaurants over the period of that time with Taj. After which I migrated to Washington, D.C. and started working in a restaurant, running the restaurant called Bombay Club. And Bombay Club is fine dining Indian restaurant, very classy place, white grand piano, shutters, plantation shutters, a lotus lotus chandelier that hangs, and you're aware of it. It's very close to the White House. It's just on the other side of Lafayette Park and next to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So, very high profile place.
Now, well, let me add here, for the sake of the viewers, that Bill Clinton, when he was president, used to sneak out and go and eat there.
Yes, the whole family used to come. Yes, you're right.
It became very high profile because most presidents eat in the White House. Right? They don't like to go out and eat, but Bill Clinton would sneak out and say, hey, let's go to this Bombay Club and go and eat there. So naturally, it became very high profile. And indeed, it is still there after 35 years. It's a famous institution now of Washington, D.C. Yes, so Jairam was there right at the beginning. Okay, let's continue.
Right. Thanks, Shubodh. Yes, so 35 years, Axios has written an article today about this. We finished 35 years. I'm proud to be calling that I was associated with them, and I wish them many more, successful years to come in the future. It is an institution, as I said, in restaurant business, as you are aware. It's a difficult way to manage them and make sure they're still viable, sustainable, profitable, so that they do work. So now we are going back 35 years ago when Indian cuisine was not really a mark, right? It was most ethnic cuisines around the time in the US was considered, some like mom pop show being done. On the flip side, Bombay Club was anything but. Bombay Club's competitor was not Indian cuisine restaurants, but more on the high-end restaurants of the city. Who's who list on those. And Bombay Club attracted who's who's list about, as you mentioned already. So I was managing restaurant there. And so we were always trying to find good chefs. There was a never-ending quest to find some good chefs. We did find, and we did have them. I'm not going to say, that we didn't, but all the same, there was always something else more that was required. And anything happened, any changes happened, we wanted to. So then it came to my mind, that when I was in New Delhi and since I went to the institute there, studied there, I was able to give back to the institute in some shape or form, give lectures, go and become external examiners and so on. But now I was away. And so I said, oh, this is return time to the community. So the idea then was that let me catch people young to think about Indian cuisine, catch them young, as the phrase goes. So the idea was these people in the catering schools, and that's what they're chartered to do, is to develop young minds to go into the hospitality trade, become chefs, manage restaurants, run hotels. So this was a perfect venue for us to create a hype and interest among youngsters to think about Indian cuisine very seriously as their career choice, and that they would take it forward. So that is where this idea of scholarship started. So I've been doing this, and essentially it covers 1 year worth of tuition for one person. And that's where it started. And that was the genesis of this. And there was also a little juxtaposition of sorts. This started in the 90s. I started in 2000, this scholarship. In the 90s, liberalization was going on in India. And so there was a lot of activity around the US Chamber of Commerce next door to us, and the White House, and Bombay Club, and the Indian Embassy. So there was always a constant stream of high-heeled folks who used to come there. And we were always in the understanding what was going on in the market space. Then towards late 1990s, where the Y2K crowd, so India got a huge amount of engineers to come outside of the country and go to different countries, including the US. So fast forward, within a few years, these young engineer and entrepreneurs became entrepreneurs of their own right. And then they had to take their clients to entertain them in good places. And Bombay Club fit the bill. It was their native one. It was, fine dining, classy affair. And it was, so the need to be more ambassadors, it was not as much just because of us, but it was also the clientele who used to come, that they felt the need of this. And so that's how it happened. Now, then once we started, so that's how the genesis, and it started in 2000 and is ongoing. The one part about this is, it's just that, it's not that we select a person. I don't select, by the way. I'll come to the selection piece a little later. But we select a person, and the Promising Chef Award is given to the person who's selected. I like to restrict it to one. I can't afford two. It's not possible. But there are years that we have given two, and in which case they just split into half. And that means that is kind of, a little less value, so to speak. So I don't want to go below a certain value threshold, because I want to make it viable for them, right? So then over these years, we have had about 27 people who have got this. There have been years in which we didn't select them, or we had to forego because the person we thought was the most viable decided not to go in the kitchens. So, but just an idea, the whole thing is this. Now, where are all these 27? It's a rich heritage. And where are these people, and what are they doing? A logical question, right? So, yeah. So just to give you a level set, on the onset, I must say that some people did not pursue, either because of reasons, which was beyond control. Sometimes they thought that they would go into hotels, work in kitchens, and they wanted to get into Indian, but some things didn't work out the way they wanted to. Some other compulsions, as we all face, and life happens. So, I'm glad that they thought about it deeply, they worked towards it, and they got rewarded for their thought, action, and their passion. And I think they are contributing, though they may not be directly working in restaurants or doing things like that, or in hotels, but they are doing other things, which is very good. which is still, and all related to Indian cuisine, which I'm proud to say that. So here are a few of them over there, right?
Yeah.
So some of them are restaurant owners, and some of them have multiple restaurants, and all of them Indian, and which is very good, and they have done extremely well. There have been failures too. One of them went and opened a restaurant in Indian restaurant in Ireland. Didn't work out very well, but came back. But then later on, he went back and did it in Dubai, and now he's got 2 or 3 of them very successful. Nice catering work going on, everything good. So there have been, yes, stumblings, but they have come back. Now those are 2, 3 of them who are in the restaurant. There are also a good crop of consultants, in the sense they have worked in the hotels, restaurant, they have been managing Indian restaurants, and now they have become consultants and doing work for other people to see how to set up. I would like to point out one particular person in this thing, who's Rahul. Rahul's forte has been, so Rahul, when he was doing this as a part of the Promising Chef Award, decided that he will do something about opening a restaurant. So he went into the mechanics of going and finding out, where should I open? What kind of restaurant should it be? What, though Indian cuisine, but still there are many different variety, variations and variety that can happen. And then how much space, how many people seated, standing, or whatever case, right? What kind of equipment do we need? So and also, there's always the thing which you licensing and other things administrative that needs to be done. So he has specialized himself to do this kind of work for people who he consults for them who want to open restaurants. So somebody comes with an idea, say, I want to open a restaurant, then he'll take it up from before even the first brick is put in place, before even a table is set up, before even a chair is put in place, or the first burner is on, and then he helps them through that. So it's a niche work, and then he also gets it to some amount of menu items and things of that nature. So he's doing really well. So those are some of the kind of people who are there also. Now, there are others who have taken up very seriously mentoring, in the sense that they are still continuing to work in their point, but they feel like I feel that we have to give back to the community. They feel very strongly about it, and they are taking people under their wings and continue. So this 27 is actually a cohort, if you will. So young ones who are coming up front have easy access to any of these older cohort folks, and there is a constant dialogue that goes on. There's a constant amount of easy reach out, all experienced folks, and they all share people too. And that's the immense things about this thing. It's just not that I compete, I get an award, and that's the end of the story. Take my money and go. No, it's not that. It's more beyond that. It's anything but just that. So that's so going back to the point of where else are they? What else, right? So these are some of the various things that they are doing. The other thing they're doing is, where are they spread? The next question is, where are they? Correct. Yeah. So let's start from all the way from Australia on the south side of the area. And then, so we have a couple of them in Australia. We have a few in Singapore. There are people going west into India. There are a few of them spread in the country. There is some concentrate of them in New Delhi and around the national capital region still. And then going further west towards Dubai, there are a couple of them there, and most of them owning restaurants and doing work. Then there is one, there are people in Italy, Germany, England, Ireland, of course, US and Canada. So they are kind of encompassed throughout the world right now. They are in all continents, so to speak, and they've done very well. There have been 2 or 3 of them who had been to Africa, has spent several years in them, and then have come back. So that also we have covered in that sphere. So one of these are, some of them are having their own catering business. In one particular, Vidhu, this young lady, is based out of Delhi, and she is doing what she calls as fine plate catering. So she takes very selected people. New Delhi is now, and always has been, very cosmopolitan, and there are all kinds of people around the world, globe, who are there. So she is constantly in the lookout for the right kind of crowd whom she selects, kind of, if you will. What kind of people that she should serve, how to serve, and what to serve. And her theme is always to put Indian cuisine in the forefront of this. So that's also, it's very heartening to know that people are thinking beyond just looking this way and how else to be contribute. So that is as far as what the 27 odd people are there who are doing this, and how they are spread out and doing all this. There's one other thing in this is, when I say chef, that I want them to be beyond just the knowledge of cooking or knowing that. You can get experts to do, say, a particular type of tandoor, for example, or curries, or Goan food, or other kinds of food. But we need somebody who orchestrates this. And Bombay Club had this, need, so that whoever is the chef, has the command of the kitchen, able to come up, speak to people like President Clinton and say something about it, right? That's where we want. That's where the need is. It's just not cooking at all. So in some ways, we also feel that there is leadership required. So in one particular case, Mukul happened to be in the Mumbai during the 2011-26 2008 blast in the main kitchen. And, he's been through some tough times. And he was managing the main kitchen there that evening. So it is so invigorating to know what he did, how he protected his people, what all. Now, no school has taught us this.
Yeah.
No amount of thing can train you for something like this.
No.
Right? And that is true leadership. And not only that, after going through this traumatic experience, that you're able to come out and still command. I think that's a lot to say about these kids I feel this cohort of mine are really so, and they enrich me more than anything else, I think. So that's what. Okay. So let's go to the next step, which is, what is the selection process? Okay, we've got these people, they're getting their scholarship. What is the selection process? So like everything else, this has also evolved over a period of time. It's not been static. We had a model for a long period of time. I'll explain that model, and also I'll explain what has happened in the last 2 years now. So the earlier model was that we used to announce, I used to tell the institute that we are here, we'll do this is an annual process, right? So every year around fall, I would say, we are ready to go, please select the. What the institute is to do is to select a select few, the faculty, the HOD of the kitchen, the principal and folks like that. They would gather themselves and then get us a handful of folks who they thought were really interested to go into the kitchen, number one. Number two is that they were good students as well, right? And if the spark lit up for Indian cuisine, all the more. And that was my job, so to speak. I took upon that responsibility, that I want to ignite them for going into Indian cuisine. So this institute selects, gives them up, and we tell them to when I say we have a selection committee, I'll come to that a little later. So we'll tell them that please write an essay, a research work, anything on Indian cuisine of your choice. There's no restriction. It has to be, right? So once they do that, they would then go, they'll submit it, we'll review it. I, for one, would speak to all the candidates before everything.
Yeah.
And just to get to know them, what is their thought process, where do they stand, what is their motivations, what are their challenges they are facing, things of that nature, to get an idea of where they're coming from. This selection committee, who always consists of a chef, and the chef of prominence now, not just one more chef from one other hotel or restaurant chain, really prominent in the area, would then get one of his understudies or direct reports to be with him. And then we would also get people from HR training. So there will be anywhere 4 people who will have the selection committee. I don't select.
Yeah.
My job is just to orchestrate. I'm
Yeah.
away. And I could, and I'm not an expert either. So
No,
why
no,
should I really break my
That's it.
head? There's no reason, right?
Yeah.
The people willing and expertise have the expertise necessary to do it. So
Yeah.
that's what. So they would go through all this. They would speak with them. They'll interview them and then select the person.
Yeah.
And once the selection happens, they would tell me, this is the candidate that we have selected.
Yeah.
I have no say in the matter. And even everybody in the was in the know. The institute knew it, the industry knew it, and the student, more importantly, the students knew it. But yes,
Yeah.
they'll coordinate with me, they'll talk to me. But other than that, I had no say in who gets the award.
Okay.
I had insulated myself that way. So then the selection committee would then come back and tell us, there are really 2 people or 3 people or something. Can we do some degradation and give it and all? So I then took a stand that we should not take more than 2.
Yeah.
Because it diminishes the value, it dilutes the value. They're putting in so much effort. Really, it doesn't, So that is where I said, okay, 2 is the limit. I can't afford it. And that's the way it'll be. Right.
Okay.
Now, so that's how it's happened for all these years. And then what they used to do is that we used to announce the winner in the spring timeframe when the institute hosts what is known as an annual day function, wherein a lot of people from the industry come, from the government come, all these bodies who are supporting them from the Ministry of Tourism, all this. It's quite an event, right? And here, the chef who has conducted this whole thing goes on stage and gives the award to the winner. Until that time, nobody knows who the winner is. Only the chef knows and I know. We have kept it under wraps. And now this has created 2 things actually. Very good things happened of this forum. One is the people who are junior, who are still in the first year and second year, know something about this, and that they can potentially get a year's worth of tuition if they do something right. And so that's right. They also became aware that Indian cuisine is a big requirement. That is still not. When I went to college, many of my classmates said, oh, I'm going to be continental, I'm going to be Italian, I'm going to be something else. But I said, wait a minute, there is no reason for it to be anything other than Indian, because there's a huge richness. You have a lot of diversity, right? So they got to hear some of these things. Then even the people in the industry who used to come and attend these functions got to know something, that this is, oh, wow. And the chef represented me in that case, and they did a better job than I would ever do, and I'm very gratified for them. I've actually had calls from the government side also asking for what is it you're doing, why are you doing, and things of that nature, to an idea behind what's going on. So it has been a very enriching and rewarding experience there. Then what happens is the student gets the award. Few weeks later, they go through a final exam and schoolwork is over. Now they are already selected into some. Most of them are already selected. Most of the winners have been already selected into some hotel group or some restaurant group, and they'll go. But they have time in between now, between the time they finish and the time they start. So they have time on them. They have money that we have provided already, and they have their passion. They have already made a report. So now we say, go and do something which will really do groundwork. Go beat the dust, find out, meet people, do whatever it is. And so people have done tremendous amount of work. The amount and the diversity in all this is very heavy, right? From regional cuisines, like, whether it's South Indian, Bengali, or kebabs, street foods they've gone to. People have done on desserts, on pickles. I never knew there were so many different types of pickles and such kind of things that they have come up with is amazing. And preservatives, how people preserve some of these things, it's just amazing. Anyway, so they have done research and done so much work on all these different types of work. So then they go and write a final report, and they get 50% whatever is left of the scholarship. So that was the model. Come 2020, we hit the wall on the pandemic. So COVID caused all of us to pause, take a pause, rethink strategies, rethink how we should be doing business. And how do we do it, right? So that was one. And of course, it opened up a full thing about doing online as well. Now, so what we decided was, I mean, since all these years, while I have been one constant, and the institute head of the department for many years are constant, the all other people have been coming, helping, going, right? It's sometimes on, some people are there for a year, some people are there for different years. But anyway, I am the constant and I'm looking into this. So we said, okay, why don't we do one thing? Instead of just in the institute deciding who comes, we will just have an online kickoff. Let everybody attend. Even if they are not interested to go into the kitchen, let them hear. There's nothing stopping them to hearing.
Yeah.
Right? We might change a few minds. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we did that model the last 2 years. And then the whole thing was that they would give us modern technology. They'll give us a video, 3 to 5 minutes about themselves and what is their interest in Indian. Then there's a down select, and we select down people to say, go and do some research. Now, this is in-depth, and the chef is involved right from day one. They have many drafts. We will review it. We'll give them comments back and forth to polish it better, to make them understand why this is being done. It's frustrating for some of them, frustrating needless to say, but all the same, it helps. So then they give this research, very in-depth, 20 to 30 page report. And then we down select again. So, for example, last year, the final selection was 4 people, finalists. And these finalists have to go and actually be careful. They have to do a trade test.
Yeah.
We don't give them the menu. They decide on the menu. The only need is they should decide on one main entree and its accompaniments, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're given all latitude, whatever. What they have to do is to give recipe in advance and ask for items that they need so that they can do. Like last year, some of them said, no, I'll get my own ingredients. Just give me the basics, but I'll get my own, whatever masalas or whatever herbs, spice, whatever they get. So which is good anyway. So, and then they're given some time, because in some cases they have to start overnight process. It has to be marinated, it has to soak, things like that. So we can, So we give them all the latitude that's required, and then the next day they come, and normally it takes about 3 to 4 hours for them to produce, and then they. So last year we had an interesting combination of 4 people, and one of them, this young lady, Yashita, was doing Goan dessert, and she did 4 of them. I can't believe it. It's so amazing. I myself was not present, except that I saw videos of them. So what happens is the selection committee goes, watches all this, tastes. There is one other thing. There's a peer review, in the sense, like, for example, there were 4 finalists. So each one of them go to the other 3, taste their food, see the presentation, what they have done, and comment. So there is the learning process already on this. What things to look for? How do we, assess people and works that is done? So this is all a part of that whole growing up piece for them, right here. Then ultimately we decide on one, and then the person was given the award, and that. So this is what's gonna now, instead of them waiting 50% and doing 50%, it's consolidated. So we want to finish it before February, sometime in February time range, so that come March, whenever there is an annual day function, they get the entire amount and they move forward. So that's I do have to say something about the selection committee itself, the people who are the jury. So I soon realized, once I did, after 1 or 2 years of doing this, I realized that these people, right, HR, training, chef, they're all tuned to go and interview people for a job. So in this case, there is no job. They are purely going to see what is the passion. Does this person have what it takes to be in the industry, and for a long duration? So I had to kind of train these people to unlearn what they learned and then rethink back. So that was, a constant thing that's going on. I mean, I was glad to do it, of course, because the outcome shows for itself. So this was another thing that had to happen, which I didn't realize at first. But I said, oh, they're experts, they know. But little guys see this thing coming, and then I have made it always a point that they know exactly why they're going, how it is different from selecting a person for filling up a job application versus there's no job, it's pure, a different level. And we want to see how they'll perform, not tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Do they have the tenacity? Do they have what it takes to go in this industry, grill themselves?
Yeah.
So that's another very important piece that makes it even better. I think that's where all these small pieces put together are coming up to, have an impact. So what is my dream other than having this? So we have right now, a handful of Indian chefs who got something like a Michelin star or a James Beard Award in the US, for example. There's a James Beard Award, which is equal to Oscars, and Michelin is around the globe.
Yeah.
So yes, would I like to see one of these become a Michelin star? Of course, yes, of course.
Yes,
and do they have are they of caliber? Absolutely, they are of that caliber.
Yeah.
What is just required is a kind of path, kind of help, kind of guidance, and sporadically to make that happen. So still hopeful that someday I will get that nirvana, so to speak, and be happy about it. But yes, so the quest is on. So we covered, why did I start this? We covered where the status, and we also covered how the selection process was. Now, this is all the past 23 years. What is the future? Do I see anything to happen, or should I consider anything like that? Well, I think the short answer is yes. We should consider going forward for a long time, and there are several factors in this. So, as I mentioned, I have been, in constant touch with the industry, with the institute, teaching institutes, both private as well as government run. So the government has now got what is known as a national council, which has 90 institutes around the country under its umbrella. So they regulate everything for that. They are a governing body. Now, they have approached me and they said, well, you're doing this, but what about others? I said, where's the money? This is all economics. I don't have the capacity to do that. And then I've been to other institutes too. I go and kind of give a little bit of a workshop, telling about things like this and how they can improve themselves and what they could do. And always the principal or the person in charge, the director's question is, why are you doing it only for the Institute of Hotel Management in Pusa? Why not other places? I said, pure and simple, I don't have the money. And show me the money and we can do. So what has happened is that there is a lot of interest beyond just the institute. There is also the interest from the industry, because here, by this selection process, we have already identified somebody who's gone through the vetting process.
Yeah.
There is a ready, available person who has gone through this process, and there are several of them who have gone through the process and very ready to take up charge.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for them too. Right?
Yeah.
So that's another point. So people have been telling me about, what about CSR funding? Why are you not pushing? Well, I've not put any effort. I was not in India for all the time. I've been there in the States and trying to do this. So time is of course required to do. But now that this has come up in several quarters, I'm thinking that I will be pursuing some sort of a thing like that.
Okay.
The question, and to go forward. The question really is, where does we go? Where is it? Well, we are a population of 1.4 and so we have a handful of Indian cuisine ambassadors right now. Do we have the capacity to explore this? Yes, of course. Do we have the intelligentsia and the talent available? Yes, there is. Do we need to do this? Yes. Now, India is no more along its borders. Indians are beyond borders, as we all know.
Yes.
In very high positions, right?
Yeah.
And doing very good work out there. Why does our cuisine stop anything beyond less than that? There's no reason. So I think there's still a long ways to go. We have much to offer. Our food is very good. There's so much diversity. And as you know, if I stand in one point and just go 50 to 100 miles any direction, it's a different cuisine.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So we have not exploited it. We have just touched the tip of the iceberg so far. So there are lots of ways to go, and there is a lot of opportunities for us to continue, I think, and we'll take it how it goes. So,
Well, what I
that's
want to do is interview you and your winner in March.
okay.
Okay. Let's have, you are just the talker
correct,
and the dreamer, but let's get the person who's actually the doer,
yes,
right?
on the ground.
Right. So in March, we hope to have you and the winner in the show, and then we can listen to you and to him. And I think we will get a deeper understanding of what it is, this innovative thing that you have done. And let's take it there at that time. What do you say?
Yes, thank you. We should also include, at least the chef who's going to be orchestrating all this. as
Sure,
one of the
anybody,
people.
we
Yes.
can do three
Yes,
people
yes.
call, and we can have a
We'll do
deeper
this.
understanding of the process as it is actually happening, right?
Exactly. Very true, very true. We will do
Okay, in the meantime, let's say bye to the viewers till then. And
Yes.
thank you
Thank you,
so
viewers.
much for sharing this very innovative idea. And it's working out so well. We don't hear of such successes. So let's say goodbye to the viewers, and we'll be back with Jairam in March. And I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye till then. Bye.
Thank you all very